This is a metaphysical talk. This is subconscious. This is nervous system reprogramming work. This is soul alignment work as well. I'm going to start with this video, and I invite you to subscribe, to make a comment, whatever this resonates, and to look at the details for Joyous Love below if you're interested. Okay. Okay. So first off, I wanted to talk about speak on consciousness, love consciousness, healing. What does it mean metaphysically to be empowered? Okay. Empowered means to be full of your light, full of power, okay? Meaning that you're not leaking power or energy to people, to experiences, or to circumstances, okay? So an empowered woman, as today describes it, or how we became empowered as we start to grow up, either you were like a leader in school or at your workplace, okay? But I want to ask you an important question. This is going to be a short video, but it's one of the most important ones that's actually going to move the needle or move you towards attracting an empowered man. It doesn't need to be a long, drawn out video. Who we become, like if we had to learn how to be empowered in an area that was survival based, like for us, meaning it was in our family, maybe you were like the firstborn daughter, okay? Maybe you were, and you're going to pick up what I'm saying, maybe you had to become empowered in school, maybe you always had perfect grades, maybe you had to lead people at a very tender age, okay? That's survival. And then maybe in work or in your love life, if that identity of being empowered is mirrored or has a lot of pain behind of it, a lot of resentment, a lot of judgment, a lot of panic behind it, you're still leaking power, and it can hijack your judgment or hijack your awareness, more so to speak. But there's a reason why the word judgment came out, and I'm here to tell you I'm a love coach, femininity coach, and intuitive and psychic. No funny business. I don't delve into weird stuff. I'm not a witch, basically. Just to speak it to you frankly, like I work with God, with Jesus, with the angels of love, and I'm not trying to big myself up. It actually requires a lot of courage for me to speak these things, and it has been a journey. So I've been doing this for 12 years, and I'm a Christian, and I believe in God. And if you look at my work and my testimonies, you're going to see that I'm not trying to do like spells on people and stuff like that. So God is sending me to say this message, okay? So it's whether you like that or not, like I respect your choice. I'm learning how to speak into this without just worrying that people are going to see me in a negative light, okay? So welcome. Es un video de cómo atraer amor. So basically, what I wanted to share with you here is that if your identity of empowerment was survival based, maybe you're trying to save your family, maybe you're trying to heal your family, and you took on a lot of their programs, okay, when as an adult now that you want to attract a powerful and empowered man, it's important that you clear your own side of the story, okay? Let's remember that empowered means being full of your own light and not leaking power. So if you're leaking power to the pain that you experience, and it makes you judgmental, it makes you resentful, it makes you panic, it makes you like kind of like distrust people, then that's an element of your power that you need to really fix before you meet someone. Because sometimes when you are like the most empowered person of the family, I hear you don't believe that you're basically I hear your shit doesn't stink, okay? Like you believe that you're better, you want to be very mindful of not becoming an elitist, because sometimes when you don't realize that your judgments are actually blocking you, you pair up with somebody that has similar like judgments, and sooner or later, as I here to tell you, like judgment is not awareness, judgment is not truth. Behind judgment, I hear over 80% of that, there is a give up, an apathy behind it. So when you think you are a know-it-all because you judge and you think you know better than people, and you believe that people are negative, people are whatever, if you have negative beliefs about people, you're not fully empowered. you can see when somebody's doing malicious intent. That's okay, but that's not everybody. So if you start to engage with people, like people are gonna just as a in Spanish it's un sesgo. It's like a skewed view. You feel like people are gonna bully you, people are gonna be mean to you, people are gonna disappoint you, people are gonna try to use you for your money. If you start to build all these negative identities over people, don't just assume that these beliefs are absolutely truth, because if you start to mix up or pair up with a man that has similar belief systems, that lack of trust in him will sooner or later project back onto you. In order for you to, like in an empowered way, attract an empowered man, you've got to trust. And the angelic message that I heard to share with you is that the angels said, you cannot trust if you don't love. Okay? It's the consciousness of love. Okay? It's not like, oh, but I'm loving him and I can't stand other people, or I'm loving him and I gave up on people. And when you love on people doesn't mean that you're gonna try to hug up a toxic person. When you love, you know how to have discernment, because there's a difference between judgment and discernment, where you stay back. Okay? You don't engage with them. But I want to say that if your empowerment came out of survival, and you're not willing to shift how you engage with that vibration, like if you are okay judging people, if you are okay looking down on people, if you are okay not fully trusting people and feel like you can only trust yourself, that's not really trust. And that is a big blind spot as you want to attract an empowered man. Because if you are not fully aware of this, you're going to assume that empowered man is a man who has money. Okay, an empowered man is a man that like works a lot, but then maybe he works a lot because he doesn't trust people. Then he's not going to be present in your marriage, and then you're going to get a divorce, right? What is like full empowerment? I had to learn many years ago that the structure that we built out of survival sooner or later collapses. Okay, and it gives us an opportunity to build stronger legs. It builds us an opportunity to build a stronger foundation. So energies that are, if it's a structure built on shame, I can't trust people, it's a wobbly foundation. But if it's built on love and trust for yourself, for God, for life, and God leading you to know who to trust, you have an open heart and a vibration to attract somebody that's kind, benevolent, and amazing. Behind empowerment, there's a, I hear God frequency, there's a love frequency, there's a joy frequency. Okay? It's not a resentment, apathetic, shameful energy. I'm not saying that, like, meaning like it's a lack of trust towards people. So these things can be measured. Consciousness can be measured. You can look at Dr. Hawking's work. You can look at the map of consciousness. You can see how there's like a view on God, view on life, view on yourself, view on others. And it's not just an emotion. Your emotions can clog up your intuition, your knowing, your power. I've seen a lot of empowered business owners who are taxed, who are exhausted, who don't trust people, who then become paranoid, because behind the judgment, there is a lack of trust, there is fear, consciousness, there's isolation. So I would invite you to heal this in a very loving way. Look at what parts of your foundation need to change in order for you to attract a conscious and empowered man. You get really confused at the idea that an empowered person is somebody who has money, okay? And who travels on a yacht. I hear like who has a yacht or who also has all these things. It's somebody that trusts themselves, is capable of seeing the good, the light in others, and to treat them as equals. That is it. Like, and in that capacity to, well, to trust God, trust themselves, trust like light. But basically, the message that I'm receiving to say, it's a very simple equation, because in that trust for God, trust in themselves, and know who to trust and treat others as equals, they will follow their dreams, whether that looks like building a lot of money, but they will do it gently. They will do it with a lot of courage. They will do it with wisdom. They will be fair to the people who work for them. They will be fair to their partner. They will be fair to you. There's a capacity for love within that person. It's not a selfish love, I hear. It's not like tit for tat, let me get my needs met kind of love. It is somebody that actually has the capacity to love. So, what you can do, because sometimes when there's like degrees to empowerment or stages to empowerment. If you just try to focus on trying to manifest this man or this partner in this angle, and meaning, no, if you just try to focus on the man side of things, but not on your side, you can actually sincerely go back to your coping mechanisms that created that empowerment for you, or that false sense of power is what I'm here to say, because you feel like it's empowerment, but I hear it's a false sense of power. You might go back to that version of you who felt like needed to control everyone to get love. And I hear 60% of women get caught up in this. That you try to control what the man is doing, what he's not doing. Oh, you label him and you do a bunch of stuff. But what you can really do, it's a false sense of power, because if you feel like you have to control people, you don't really love them and you don't really trust them. And if we go back to the angelic message, is that real trust needs love running through you. Okay, so what does that look like? You cannot control people, and some people get caught up in this energy that the reason why it makes you control is that you feel like you have to. You're not going to get your needs met. You're going to be alone in life. That's one of the underlying top three beliefs of what makes a woman control. So that's a wobbly foundation. Okay, you're not really empowered. It's a false sense of power. So if you are willing to look within and change that belief that you're not going to get love, that you're not going to get your needs met, because remember, if you have that belief, you're actually leaking power. Okay, so you're attracting somebody that leaks power, or you're attracting somebody that's empowered, but you're trying to control them, and sooner or later that relationship is going to break because you're not healing. Okay, you believe that healing is control, and you're not taking full accountability of what is it that you truly deserve. Okay, like what is it that you need to change. So how do you heal that? You look at the places where you leak power and you clear them, meaning you reprogram them from your subconscious and from your nervous system. It is very critical to do your nervous system too, because it takes a lot less time. Basically, it can shift in weeks or in months if you've had even PTSD, like I did. I used to have CPTSD, but you got to be committed to that to really stay empowered, regardless of any negative experiences that you have with people. And so, if there's a moment where you get triggered, you're not in reaction, which is a control, but you remain sovereign. So I'm going to give you an example. Okay. I've personally noticed, and I've had this too, I'm calling myself out, right? Like I wouldn't be able to speak on this if I didn't like live it. And I've worked on this with my clients. A lot of empowered people, or people who learned a false sense of power growing up, let's call it that, where they had to control and like earn love or approval, or they had to prove their work consistently, can have negative beliefs about people, right? You can believe that people here are not evolved. A lot of spiritual people have this belief that, Earth is just like a training like ground and people are not evolved and you have to go somewhere else. I want to remind you of what the Hindus are saying: you bring heaven to earth. You grow here, okay? Yes, you see the negativity, yes, you see the evil, but you got to build your capacity for joy, for self-trust, and not to just hate on the world and attack the world. So what happens is that you have negative beliefs about people. You believe, one of the beliefs that I heard this morning, it was that men are not capable of love. So, and I hear to explain this, that what I said earlier, that judgment has a give up, and I said 80%, they're expressing that it could be from your parents, it could be lineage, it could be epigenetics, it could be a core belief system where people start to give up and they start to judge the world, judge their experiences, judge life, judge themselves, judge God, judge people. So it's not necessarily something a you thing, but it's something that your mom, your grandparent, etc. had. So in that, so you have negative beliefs about people. I've seen a lot of people who were like really intelligent in school tell me the exact phrase, I don't like people. So meaning your empowerment has still some degrees of suffering and survival. And I keep hearing this, it's like the people that you don't like, I hear 80% are suffering. They're in a suffering frequency and they're asking, are you also in a suffering frequency? Is that what you don't like people? So you're not empowered because you're leaking energy and you're suffering. So you want to be able to really fill up and trust that life is going to work for you. So if you're trying to empower yourself by having negative beliefs about people, you're cutting off your flow of abundance, of prosperity, of joy, and of love, and of peace. You got to really upgrade your beliefs about people, because when people feel like you judge them, they act in the same way that makes you judge them a lot, because you're not having enough faith in them. Once again, there are people that are choosing toxic paths, evil paths. You want to have the discernment, not the judgment, to not be able to perceive that. So because when you're judging, your vision is impaired, it's skewed. Okay, to know that and to stay away and to ask God, what is it that you need to do? But if you start to build up a tank within you where you can't trust people, people are this, and you start to become apathetic or angry or frustrated or fearful of people, then you cap your love, your income level, you cap so many different things. So I invite you to have strong legs, and you work on that on your nervous system, okay? Or else your nervous system is rigid, it's not trusting the world. What happens is that you are operating mainly on your conscious mind, which governs 8 to 10% of what you really believe, what you really allow. That's not being empowered. So that's why they're saying it's a false sense of power. Where is your real power? It's in your nervous system and your aura and your soul. Your soul is bigger than your body. Okay, your nervous system runs through the entirety of your body. And if your nervous system got stuck in survival, I'm not going to be seen, I'm not going to be chosen, it's not going to be easy being me, I'm not going to get what I want, people are going to be mean, people are going to be this, I can't trust people. You start feeling apathy, you start feeling stress, you start feeling panic, you start feeling hate. You start feeling a lot of these things. That is a sign of a rigid nervous system. And remember, your light, your soul starts to run through like your nervous system, taught as an intuitive, yeah, like somebody who studies and like gets a lot of messages from the angels, like sincerely, like it's rigid and your power cannot run through you really. It's disempowerment. You need to have a flexible nervous system that is capable of trusting God, themselves, in life, and so that you know how to trust. That's actually one of the secrets to my intuition and how I built it. Like, I've worked with clients that they're like, how is it that you know that? Like right there on the spot. Like I can meet somebody that's extremely charming and within like 2 minutes or seconds, sometimes I'm like, nah. Okay. Because my nervous system, it's not like jacked up in panic, in flight, freeze, fawn, fight, survival. I had to mellow that out. Like, yeah, I hear, like, I need to say this. I've been sexually assaulted, trigger warning. And I was trying to be warned by God and my angels before it happened. But when your nervous system is like tight and hyper vigilant, it's like you receive a message and you kind of doubt it. I don't want to have doubt running through my nervous system. I want to have clarity. Okay. So I've like risen above that. Like I like nobody helped me sincerely. Like I have one person who helped me move out of this space and who is my dear best friend, but I had to rise. You know what I mean? Like, it's like I had friends who were still talking to the person involved in the situation for years, still counting. I had to really learn how to build my nervous system to self trust and not get stuck on bitterness or, oh my God, I cannot believe that they didn't help me. Oh my God, I can't trust people. Even though I was there, it took me like a year to start to lower like my defenses about that. Like I started to lose parts of myself and my connection to other people because you start to believe that love is going to hurt or that people are going to hurt you, and your nervous system gets stuck on that, and it's a survival idea that you can only trust yourself. So help comes from God, help comes from your angels, help comes from your higher self. And then it comes through other people, but you got to have an open nervous system to be able to pick up intuitively and to know how to take care of yourself without bitterness, without anger and angst, because those emotions can cloud your knowing and your power. They leak power and then your sovereignty, and then it's very difficult for you to pick up who's an empowered person. You start to make choices from your ego and your survival based self rather than your most empowered self. So my program Joyous Love is a private clearing program where I help you retune from your nervous system, and with the help of your angels, I also do angel clearing work with you to help you feel empowered, joyful, open, and magnetic, and recognize somebody that is the right fit for you. If you wanted to add an add-on, because it is an add-on, it does take some, like at least 3 months for me to help you train your intuition. Then we can do the add-on also so that you can have clear awareness all the time. You're not doing witchcraft on people. You're not taking people's power away or anything like that. You have a right to truth and to peace And sometimes when you become more intuitive, you can start to pick up elements of truth, but then it's merged with your survival and your panic and your lack of trust in people. And you got to be able to be discerning about that. And that does take time to heal, because or else you're bleeding out and you're projecting out your pain onto other people. Just because two circumstances look similar doesn't mean that they are the same. And you got to have a really joyful view on God life, like seeing how God life is helping you heal, and not one that God is trying to punish you or caution you against everybody. There are people or souls who want to live long, happy, joyful, blissful lives. So the details for Joyful Love is below. Is $3,033. The real investment could have, sincerely, it's over 10,000, because it's something that's going to change your life. Some people would rather pay for a car, for a purse, pay like over 15,000, and then they scoff and they hear a number like that, because that part of you is not believing that change is possible. It's not because I'm being a scam or anything like that. It's just you would rather invest in something that builds maybe your image or your pleasures in life, whatever it is, and that's a choice. But if you really believe that change is possible, you would see that for such a low amount, if you really commit, you can make things happen for yourself in your life. Yeah, like I would rather, I personally believe, and this is not for me to tell that to, like, this is my personal belief. If somebody is not willing, I'm not saying you have to, but if you do not see the value in investing over 15K in your life, and I'm not asking you for that money, I'm not, but if you don't see it, like if you don't see the value, that's all that I'm saying. There's some judgment, there's some resentment, there's some pain, there's some apathy behind it, but it's also impacting what you're willing to receive in life. I'm not saying you have to, but it makes sense, right? Like you invest in a house, you invest in college, you invest in all these things. But when it comes to investing in yourself and you react with a lot of rage or anger or frustration or just shock at a number like that, when it comes to investing in yourself, I hear like there's a part of you turn off your light. Like somewhere life became kind of mundane for you, and you kind of shut off from your dreams and your hopes and your desires. So I'm never seen God not help somebody be able to invest in themselves. All right. Like when you're starting to say yes to investing in yourself, you're really committed and you're empowering yourself. And it's safe, right, and good for you to have that capacity to do so for yourself. And maybe you've had other people who scorn you whenever you invested that way. And I get that. I get that. I've had that happen. Don't cut off your joy or like money coming in or opportunities from coming in because of money, because that's another form of leaking power and sovereignty. Because the more intuitive you become, you will know who's actually capable of helping you. Okay. So you can ask, if I do this, will it help me? If I do this, will I find my love? What is it that I need to do this? Is it going to work? So ask yourself that question. I'm not saying that you might totally get like the most like intuitive answer. Sometimes we have these judgments that we need to clear that can like, skew the answers. But the goal is to be absolutely clear. Okay. You know how people talk about clear knowing, clear voyance, clear audience, clear gustance. It's an energy of being clear. Okay. But the judgment, the panic, the flight, freeze, fawn, fight that we have, sometimes it could be even self-hatred it's like we made a mistake and we go into self-hatred, and that might not even be your answer, but it's somebody like it's a pattern in your family that it will skew the answers that you get. So the more we clear the negativity that we have towards ourselves and other people, the more clear we become. And then we can actually feel more joy running through us, because that's the secret. That's why it's joyous love or joyous intuition or joyous power, because it's you trust that good things are going to happen. And no amount of people feeling broken or apathy or jealousy or sadness or darkness that you see in the world can take away your joy. That's why you bring heaven to earth, right? And you're not stuck in some sort of doubt frequency for 10 or 20 or 15 years, okay? Live with clarity, live with peace, and I wish you a lot of love. If you'd like to join, the details are below. If you have any questions, I'm available to connect with you. And if you've been thinking about working with me, I might do it just this week, but send me an email, and we can schedule a time where we can connect for 15 minutes or so, if you are interested in working with me, okay? And we can just connect, because I used to offer it here, but then a lot of people would just try to get information from entertainment purposes, and it's my energy. Like, I want to keep myself vital, strong, and just connected and helping and purposeful. Okay, I've been doing this for 12 years, and my website is below with the testimonials as well. So I'm sending much love.